What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Mets Talk. We are back finally here with Nico again, of course. And today we're going to recap the series that they had with the Atlanta Braves, as well as the Philadelphia Phillies. As now they also enter a series against the Phillies, which is weird enough. But we're going to talk about all of that. Before we do, be sure to leave a like if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe if you guys are new, and if you're listening on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever, give us a rating, give us a review. Also, remember to check out Manscaped. We don't have Nick here to be laughing through the ad read, but they are the best when it comes to men's below the waist grooming. So you got to go check them out. Use code Python for 20% off at manscaped.com to get yourself free shipping and 20% off, as I mentioned. Go check them out. They are the best, as well as check out TickPick if you want to save some money to go to a game. There's no fees at the checkout page when you buy the ticket. So the price that you're seeing is the price that you're paying. If it's $5, it's $5. Unlike with other websites where you see $5 up, $10 fees as well with that. That's not a problem. Go check them out as well. But Nico, how are you feeling about these Mets? Because it started off great against the Phillies, and then the Braves series kind of killed things.
Oh yeah. I mean, the last time we were on this together, we just wrapped up the Yankee series. So
yeah, we actually did. I ended up doing a bit of a solo episode too because I had the vent about the trade deadline. I just
yeah.
couldn't. So yeah, but the last time we did one of these together, yeah, it was all the way back when the Subway series was going on.
Yeah. So we were looking really good. I mean, this league got up to like 7.5 games when we won 4 out of 5 against the Braves. But now this series against the Braves was not pretty for us. We had a good series against the Phillies, but now we play them again on the road and then the Yankees after. So lead's only down to 3.5 now, and the Mets got to start playing some good baseball again.
Yeah, and it's just tough to evaluate this because the first two games were kind of out of the Mets' control a bit in a way because you had the rain delay in game one. Carrasco ends up getting hurt in that game one. You pull him out. Game two, Taijuan Walker gets hurt. You have to take him out. But at the same time, I understand that entire narrative that people like to go with that, where it's like, okay, it's hard to evaluate, but at the same time, the offense in total those first two games combined for one run in those two games. So I have a hard time with that. I understand that when you're losing 13-1, it's hard to take an at bat seriously, but in that 5-0 loss, they were just showing not any competitive at bats, and it was just a joke. And the lineup too. I mean, you had Devin Marrero playing. You had Michael Perez in the lineup that day. It was just kind of like, yeah, we're just gonna lose this game because why not? Charlie Morton
Yeah.
looked like Jacob deGrom out there. 12 strikeouts in that game, just completely unacceptable. Game one, who the Braves throw out there on the mound? I completely forgot.
In game one, they threw out
Strider, that's right.
Strider. Yep.
The lucky guy there. But
Yeah.
uh,
So, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that it was just tough offensively the first two games. So I understand Met fans that are trying to use the takeaway. Okay, well, you had a lot of injuries the first two games with the pitching, but at the same time, the offense was inexcusable.
Absolutely. I mean, the first 2 games of the series, the offense just wasn't there at all. I mean, they were throwing out whoever at third base, catcher. I mean, we've always known has been an issue. And then, luckily, the last couple of games of the series, they called up you know who I'm sure we're going to get to in a little bit. And yeah, they looked good in that third game of the series. And then yesterday again, they kind of just disappeared. So it's been a little inconsistent with this lineup. So hopefully they could find a groove again against the Phillies because this is another big series.
Yeah, 100%. And that first game was just a backtrack there. It was just such a pain. Like seeing William Contreras around the bases to Norco playing in the back.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
I was screaming at the TV. I couldn't with that. Eddie Rosario hitting home runs. Also, how about the Mets making this guy Robbie Grossman look like Barry Bonds up there because
oh
I
my
don't know what it
goodness.
was.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we made him look like Barry Bonds, as you said. just raking off us, and yeah, it was a disaster.
Yeah, and not even a whole lot to say good about the Mets. The only way they scored a run was off of a Eduardo Escobar ground out, and
Ground out. Yep.
woohoo, woohoo.
Yep.
And Escobar, of
He's getting
course, he ended
replaced
up
now.
getting hurt.
Yep.
Uh, and then just to go to the 5-0 game, I mean, Lindor's the only guy that was able to hit the baseball. Nimmo got one hit in this game, but outside of that,
Yep.
and
Ugly
Brandon
game.
Nimmo, I mean, we have a lot to talk about with him. He has not been playing good
Oh
baseball at
yeah.
all. I saw a tweet that he's like 5 for his last 33 or something.
And yeah, he also had quite a costly mistake, I would say, in last night's game where they were stealing from first, 3-2 count, 2 outs, playing really deep in the outfield, and quite a noodle arm there. Honestly, getting that ball home, that was inexcusable from letting him score first home there on a ground ball up the middle.
Oh, I got a lot to say about that
Yeah,
one. We'll jump to game
well,
4
we'll talk about
there.
that too.
But yeah, first 2 games, keep it simple. Deflating, just deflating
Yeah.
games and kind of throwaway games. And then you move on to game 3. You're like, all right, we could split the series. You got your 2 aces pitching the next 2 games, Max Scherzer, Jacob DeGrom. What could possibly go wrong? Well, we know that the offense doesn't score runs, but you're still thinking, all right, you got a chance really to get things going. And the offense definitely was rolling in this game. You had back-to-back home runs from Marte and Lindor in the first inning. Looked great. And Brett Beatty was called up finally, overdue, and he should have been called up before Marrero, but it took Eduardo Escobar's oblique acting up too much to the point where he was only able to hit left-handed, and that's not even worth it because he's like James McCann hitting left-handed. There's no point in even trying up there. And Brett Beatty, in his first major league at bat, his first swing at the major league level, hits one towards the chop house for a 2-run shot, and he just looks like a natural fit. I am already pumped up. It's 2 games and I'm already ready to run through a wall for this guy.
Yeah, me too. I 100% agree. I mean, it's been long overdue, as you said, the call up. He's going to be the third baseman here for a long time. Going to be, hopefully, I guess, similar to David Wright type player for the Mets. And I'm really excited for his future. He's got a really bright one, to say the least.
Yeah, his swing is just
Oh, it's beautiful.
it's sexy. It's great. And I've seen the Christian Yelich comparison. I don't see that personally, but it is still great. And if he keeps doing this, like we'll get to that question later. I really wonder, like, if he wins the job over, what the Mets are going to do roster wise, because you cannot, if he keeps playing this way for the next however many days, I am going to find it difficult to send him down. And you don't understand how pumped I am to see this guy hitting Yankee Stadium. You have no idea.
Oh, should hit a
That
couple
short
tanks
porch.
there.
Oh, give me that short porch all day
All
with this
day.
guy.
For sure,
But
for sure.
to continue with game 3, Mets then surrendered a run to Dansby Swanson because he's just like that against us. He's our kryptonite. But then the Mets ended up taking a big lead as Canha gets an RBI double. And Mark Canha has looked great, especially these past 2 games. Can't say enough good things about him. Marte with another home run on the day. And then the 7th inning, you get into a bit of trouble. And also forgot to mention that there was a rain delay in this game as well. There's concern is Scherzer going to be able to pitch the rest of this game. Thankfully, he got through it. But the 7th inning, this was a nightmare as Scherzer got the bases loaded. And the first time in his entire Mets tenure thus far that he had a 4-pitch walk to Eddie Rosario, but bases ended up getting juiced in this one. And they'd elect to bring in Adam Ottavino, and he's been lights out for us. You thought what you had was a double play. Didn't end up being the case upon further review. So scored a run, 6-2. And then he leaves a fastball right down the heart to Robbie Grossman, who, like I mentioned, was Barry Bonds this series against us. And he just kills that one to the chop house, 6-5 game. And I'm not going to kill Ottavino. He's been lights out for us for the most part this year. so I'm not gonna kill him, but holy crap, this bullpen, this
Uh,
bullpen makes my heart going.
this is why, like, I don't understand why you didn't get another bullpen piece or two at the deadline. I understand you're going to get Tyler McGill back or you're going to throw in the pen, but now you got Carrasco injured. You got Walker injured. So now you might need McGill back for the rotation for a little bit. This is why the Mets needed to get another lefty because this bullpen is going to be a real issue down the stretch here. And in the playoffs, yeah, of course, you can use your back end starters like Carrasco and Walker when they're back in the bullpen. But still, I mean, there's just no reliable guys in this bullpen other than Edwin Diaz and Adam Ottavino for the most part, besides that game against Atlanta.
Well, that's not even true anymore. We can't even throw two guys in the bullpen now in the postseason because the scheduling, they decided, oh, yeah, let's do games 3, 4, 5 in the division series played consecutively. And then the championship series and the World Series, games 3 through 7 are played consecutively.
Oh, really? Did
Yes.
not know that.
So
Wow,
if the
seriously.
Mets are playing the Los Angeles Dodgers for games 3, 4, and 5, doesn't matter. Come right back to New York for games 6 and 7. No days off. Great
Oh,
scheduling,
man.
MLB. Surely there's not going to be any issues with this one.
That's horrible.
Stupid league. But to talk about the game again, ninth inning, the Mets added what ended up being some crucial insurance runs. Well, Edwin Diaz, we'll talk about him too. Just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting in that 8th inning. Striking out Swanson, striking out Olson, getting that out on Austin Riley. He looked disgusting as per usual. And the Mets adding insurance runs to make sure that you didn't have to use Diaz again was nice. Granted, the last game you didn't end up needing him, but there was a chance that they would have needed him. But regardless, 9th inning, you get some insurance runs from Pete Alonso and Daniel Vogelbach, and Trevor May makes us sweat a bit here in this one. But thankfully, the Mets hold on, win this one 9-7. A game where if they end up losing this one and they got swept, this is one of those games where this would have been a frustrating loss, like the 4th game.
Yeah, this game would have been really heartbreaking to lose. I mean, I thought it had all Mets written all over it losing this game. Luckily, we did hold on to it, though, avoided the sweep. A sweep would have put us, would it have been 1.5 game lead now?
2.5.
2.5, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that would have been bad, but luckily we actually hit the ball that day. And, you know, the bullpen was almost blowing it for us, but, you know, the bats were enough to get the job done that day.
Yeah, thankfully, because the lineup has been just embarrassing these past few games, and that kind of continued into this next game and this final game. Jacob deGrom versus Max Fried, and it was just a vintage scripted deGrom game as always, where he deals and it's not enough for the Mets because the offense outside of Mark Canha, nobody really got it done. Brett Beatty got a hit. McCann got a hit, shockingly enough. Jeff McNeil has been red hot, got a hit, as well as Lindor. But I'm sorry, it's inexcusable when the top 5 in your order combined for 1 hit all game. It's inexcusable.
Exactly. Brendan Nemo, as we said, as of lately, been really bad. 3 strikeouts from him is very uncharacteristic. Marte, I mean, Marte's been on a tear as of recently. He had a bad game. Lindor, as we say, got a hit. Pete Alonso with a rare 0-hit day. So, yeah, definitely you're not going to win a ball game when your top guys are not getting hits. But the Mets still almost found a way to squeak it out with deGrom on the mound. But wasn't enough.
I really wonder what Marte's stats are in the final games of series because it seems like this guy always is just like burnt out by the end of series. Like he shouldn't even be playing at the end of the series because he just can't hit the baseball for whatever reason.
Would have been an interesting stat to look up.
That would be a lot of deep diving. I'm gonna try to do that if I notice this continues to happen. But when it comes to what happened this game, 3rd inning, deGrom threw 2 ugly sliders that he probably wants back. Well, the 3rd inning, the top of the 3rd was even more of a disaster because Mark Canha, leadoff double, Brett Beatty gets a single to follow. And what do the Mets do? Go down in order instead of driving in the runs. And I'm sure Joey Cora, if he could go back on it, would have sent Mark Hanna on that Brett Beatty single.
Yeah.
But because you look at who's up next, James McCann, his OPS starts with 4, and no, it's not 4,000. It's 400. Brandon Nimmo has not been hitting well. And then Marte, sure, maybe you would have thought you would have got a hit there, but at the same time, I feel like you had to be aggressive, send Mark Hanna on that opportunity there. But then I could also understand at the same time where if they did send him and he was gunned out, where it's like, all right, well, you wasted an opportunity where you had 2 men on and you had no outs, but
Exactly.
you expected James McCann to give a productive out. Come on. No.
Yep. Never.
And at bottom of the third, DeGrom, 2 sliders that he probably wants back. Grossman gets a single because that's what Robbie Grossman does against the Mets. And then Dansby Swanson, who is our kryptonite, gets an RBI double on a hanging slider, followed by Austin Riley getting an RBI single on a hanging slider. And for whatever reason, DeGrom just couldn't get both of these to break. I don't know if his velocity is just too high on these sliders where there's not enough time for it to break last second or not. But regardless, he hung back-to-back sliders. He probably wants those back. And it's a rare outing where DeGrom lets up more than no runs. And it just sucks that it's the one time where the Mets score more than 1 run for the guy. And it's naturally the time he allows 2 runs.
Yep, exactly. I mean, it's rare enough to see DeGrom in freaking 1 start allow 1 run, let alone giving up 2 runs in 1 inning. So we definitely not expecting that. But then as we approach the top of the 5th, Mark Hanna again.
Yeah,
Huge.
Chet McNeil leadoff single, first pitch swinging, lines one down the right field line, and then Mark Hanna with a 2-run home run, which you love to see Mark Hanna heating up. Maybe he needs to be playing every day, and that's the only way that they could heat up because this guy pitch hitting couldn't hit water if he fell off a boat. But yeah, Mets end up tying the game. They make it a new ball game, and didn't matter because the Mets just did virtually nothing offensively after this. But then the 7th inning, which seemed like the Achilles heel for the Mets all series long, the 7th inning, Jacob DeGrom gets the first 2 outs, no problem. And you're thinking, all right, maybe there's a chance even he goes out there for 8. Maybe there's a chance. And no, Vaughn Grissom gets a single, and that was enough for Buck to take him out for Seth Lugo, which I really don't agree with that decision at all. I understand that, yeah, DeGrom is first coming back from that injury still, but to me, Michael Harris wasn't hitting anything. You have Robbie Grossman, who, yeah, got a hit earlier on, but let him go through the order. I felt like let him get through the end of the order. He's going to get this final out on Harris. If he doesn't, let him get it on Grossman, and then let the bullpen face the top of the order so DeGrom doesn't go against it again. I didn't agree with the decision, especially bringing in Seth Lugo. Granted, what are the options? I keep saying that every time because it's like we get mad at who Buck brings in, but what are the other options? Was he going to bring in Trevor May here? Was he going to bring in Michael Givens here, who actually has best outing as a Met? So maybe it would have been better there, but it's like that game against the Phillies, which we'll talk about that series to go backwards a bit after, but felt like that game 1 against the Phillies where it was just a kick in the balls this game where they had it, and then Michael Harris.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with you there that DeGrom should have just finished the inning against the bottom of the order. Like, this is the big games that DeGrom is, built for. Like, he should be going on. You needed a big win in this game, and then you yank him. And then, of course, Seth Lugo giving up that run. Just, I don't know. Don't agree with the decision by Buck Showalter there, but what are you going to do? The Mets just got to move on now to this Philly series.
Yep, and then this was also the same sequence where Brandon Nimmo spaghetti arm, and I have a hard time figuring out how anyone's making any excuses for this when they showed the replay, and who was it, Vaughn Grissom, right? Yeah, this guy wasn't even touching third base when Brandon Nimmo had the baseball in his hand.
Yeah,
there was no reason for him to score on that. No reason.
No, totally inexcusable for going first to home on a ground ball up the middle. I understand he was stealing, but I mean, he shouldn't still be going from first to home. Third, okay. But yeah, that was a really, really poor play in the field by Brandon Nemo. And just as a whole, he's been concerning lately for the Mets. So he needs to start playing how he was a couple weeks ago, for sure.
Yeah, especially I mean a good way to heat things up is in Citizens Bank Ballpark, that small ballpark. So we'll see
Mhm.
what happens there. But to finish off this game quickly, Michael Givens, like I said, his best outing as a Met, gets 3 strikeouts. If we could get that Michael Givens, I could get behind that.
Would love that.
It's what this team desperately needs because this bullpen, man, it's gonna give me
Something
a heart
else.
attack. And then ninth inning, you had a bit of a weird play. This just absolutely sucked. Francisco Lindor leadoff single, everything's great there, and then he tries to steal second base, and Pete Alonso hits one out into the Bermuda Triangle, and you thought it was gonna get caught. So
Yeah,
Lindor
so
had the
running
run
back.
back, thinking he was gonna get doubled up, but instead, ball drops and nothing he could have done. Lindor gets caught in no man's land, and that ended up being the first out of the inning. And it sucks because could have had a scenario where you had 2 aboard, no outs. Granted, was this offense going to do anything afterwards? Who knows? I mean, it would have been a scenario where Mark Hanna, who's been hitting great, would have got up again. But this sucked. This one just absolutely sucked. I don't know why Pete swung at that pitch too. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he swung at it. Lindor, I mean, it was a tough one. You didn't think that ball was dropping, it ended up dropping, and then he's caught between the bases. Really sucked. If he knew that ball was dropping, we would have had 2 men on, no outs. Pretty solid chance we would have ended up tying that game, I would say. But unfortunately, it just didn't happen. So
I
definitely sucked.
I just don't agree with Pete swinging there at all. Like, you got to let Lindor steal. This guy Kenley Jansen's out there twerking
Yeah,
on the mound. Like, anyone could run on this guy. We saw Devin Marrero do it after. I don't understand why Pete swung at that pitch, but it is what it is. Mets dropped the series. At least the good news is that they didn't lose. They're still in lead of the division. That's the good news. The other good news is the last series against the Braves, they took 4 out of 5, which was huge. So 4 out of 5 better than the Braves getting their 3 out of 4.
true.
So still still in safe grounds here. You're going into Philly, and it's going to be interesting. And thank you so much to whoever it was that decided, oh yeah, let's make a night game getaway day on the same. Let's play a night game the next day. The Mets have to travel. I don't know who made that decision, but sure.
Oh yeah,
Bassett already traveled to Philly. Apparently, they had him on the plane ready to go before anyone else, just to make sure that uh, travel doesn't mess him up there. But dumb decision. But Mets kick things off in Citizens Bank Park tonight, which we'll quickly rewind a bit to that series that they had last against the Phillies, just because one, we didn't talk about it, two, gives us maybe a little preview of what there is to
preview.
come in this series. So game one, I was at this game because of course, just uh like I said earlier in the show, kicking the balls, man. Kick in the balls. You had Max Scherzer on the bump, who the Phillies have kind of gave him a headache, it seems like, because I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because of how many times they've seen Max Scherzer or what, but they seem to have his number a bit as they got a run early in this game. Alec Boehm got a single, driving in Bryson Stott off that leadoff double. Um, and it sucked. I mean, bottom of the second, they ended up responding. Mark Hanna got that sac fly, but the bats after that, complete crickets. And this was also the game where Mark Hanna had to come into play third base. He had all these injuries again, and it was ridiculous. I had no idea what was going on sitting there, but I see Guillorme moving the second. You get Can at third. McNeil, you didn't know what happened, which we learned after he ended up getting stitches on that thumb. And it was just a nightmare scenario again. Thankfully, Mark Hanna held down the fort well because Eduardo Escobar, when he had to come in to play third base for a bit there, holy crap, was he a nightmare? He defensively, he's not it. He just
No,
isn't.
he's very, very below average defensively. I mean, I don't know, Eduardo Escobar. He's not the answer for the Mets. I mean, even when he comes back, it looks like Brett Beatty has definitely taken the job over him. So
Which
don't know there.
we hope so. We hope
Yeah.
so. Um, as long as Beatty continues to be the way he is. But with this game, the ninth inning, we'll fast forward to because that's really where things kind of got eventful again. Well, outside of Edwin Diaz, which being in the stadium when Edwin Diaz pitches,
So electric.
it's forget just the trumpets. Like everybody's standing up for this guy throughout the entire time. Like from pitch one with Brandon Marsh to the last pitch of Bryson Stott, everyone's standing on their feet for Edwin Diaz watching this pitch, and it's definitely fun to be at the stadium when he is pitching. So yeah, unfortunately though, it wasn't a scenario where it was a safe situation because Edwin Diaz was electric in this game. Ninth inning, Sir Anthony Dominguez comes in for the Phillies to pitch. Marte, leadoff double. Great to see. Marte Lindor gets a productive out, moves Marte to third. Pete gets intentionally walked, and then Vogelbach pops one out shallow to left field. And for whatever reason on this one, Starling Marte ran. And I still don't know how to feel about this to this day. I don't know how to feel.
I understand the decision. You know, you had one out, you fly out. It was a shallow ball. Marte's got speed. There was going to be two outs, first or a man on third. I get the decision because I don't think the Mets were driving in that run with two away. But yeah, he was out pretty comfortably. So don't know. I'm with you there, 50-50 on that call, but I definitely understand it.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, Evan Vierling is, not necessarily a great player, but the things I do to go back and just have Kyle, like if Kyle Schwarber was actually healthy, I'm actually wishing Kyle Schwarber was healthy. He's not making that throw to home plate. There's no
Yeah.
way. It just sucks. And then this again, kicking the balls, 10th inning. Gotta love the runner on second rule. Nothing better, right? Rhys Hoskins, productive out, moves the runner to third, and this was Michael Givens coming in, which I knew was a recipe for disaster to begin with. But Alec Boehm, sack fly,
Another RBI.
and then Marte just with a just dime of a throw, and Tomas Nido just completely fumbles the ball there. And again, kicking the balls, David Robertson comes in just to add salt to the wound because, of
Should have
course,
been a Met.
should have been a Met, David Robertson, that is, yes. And the Mets don't do anything. They advance the runner to the third on the first out, but Naquin strikes out, and then Guillorme ended up grounding out. Mets lose this one 2-1. Pain. Pain is all I can say to that one.
Very painful game.
But the good news was Jacob deGrom is on the mound the next day. And the Mets scored early for him. And I thought, all right, maybe the Bats are actually going to do something today because Pete Alonso, he gets an RBI single early in the game, 1-0. No, the offense was crickets from there. But Jacob deGrom, 10 strikeouts. And I got to give a bit of credit, though, to Aaron Nola. He was going toe-to-toe with deGrom. Aaron Nola was dealing for the Phillies. And that it's kind of like game one for us, where that's just kind of a kick in the balls. Aaron Nola pitched a complete game here, 8 strikeouts, only allowing that 1 earned run. That just sucks.
That's the game from him. Couldn't do much off Aaron Nola. He had a very good outing, but the Phillies gave him the deGrom treatment today in that game. So that was lucky for us, but we only got 1 run in return for deGrom, but it was enough to get the job done. So,
and this one even got shaky. Edwin Diaz did not have it in this one.
Not at all. Missing with every slider, bouncing, all of them.
Yeah, his slider was all over the place. But then, I mean, Nick Castellanos, he's not hitting the swing and a drive this year. He struck out on that slider. Same thing, right at the feet, and he looked stupid. painting that one. Edwin Diaz did, and Mets hold on to win this one 1-0. And then this Sunday game was at this one. Definitely a lot better being at this one versus
Oh
that
yeah, this was a good one.
first game. Chris Bassett. I would say this was necessarily flawless though, because my heart was going in this fourth inning, especially fourth inning and the fifth inning. This was a bit of a shaky game. But to talk about, the Mets got the offense going early. Brandon Nimmo almost ended up hitting a home run, gets a leadoff double there in right field, and Lindor ends up driving him in with a single to make things 1-0. And then nothing much happened till the fourth inning. Like I mentioned, Bassett got into a bit of trouble, back-to-back singles to Hoskins and Alec Boehm, but then he ends up getting the rest of the side out. So did not matter, but things got shaky. He looked off with some of those pitches. That Nick Castellanos at bat was just a pain to watch. Bottom of the fourth, Mets added some runs. Pete Alonso gets a double. Mets producing with 2 outs because for whatever reason they prefer to produce with 2 outs versus no outs. Mark Hanna getting an RBI single. Luis Guillorme getting an RBI single. And unfortunately, when the Mets scored the next run, James McCann of all people too. How about that? Guillorme was a bit shaken up, though. He ended up having to leave this game. And of course, he ended up going on the injured list with that groin injury. He's down for 3 to 4 weeks. But James McCann, of all people, got an RBI there. Jeff McNeil, also smart base running there. Brandon Marsh, I don't know what he was doing out there. I mean, classic Phillies moment, I guess, with the defense. They end up expanding the lead to 5-0. And this was, despite the final score, this was actually a closer game. But I'm sitting in the stadium and I'm like, there's no way we're doing this to Zach Wheeler, right? I was shocked.
Zach Wheeler, we always have trouble off, it seems. So it was nice to get some revenge on him today. Kind of raking off him. That was a really solid performance and got him out of the game in what was it, the fifth or sixth? He went 6 innings in this one. But yeah, they torched him.
Yeah, and he went deeper than Chris Bassett in this one.
Yeah,
fifth inning, Escobar had to come into play third, and this is where things got a bit shaky. Gene Segura gets on from an error. Brandon Marsh then with the double. Bassett picks up back-to-back strikeouts, walks Rhys Hoskins. Controversial call, I thought, though. I thought that could have been strike 3. One of those pitches there. But thankfully, Alec Boehm pops out there, and they get out of trouble there to end things. And nothing much else happened. I mean, Vogelbach ended up adding an extra run because we love him. He gets on base. He hits home runs. He crushed that one to right field. And this was just a nightmare game for me, though, because I'm not a Trevor Williams guy. I see him coming to the game. I see Joely Rodriguez coming to the game. I was like, they're trying to piss me off, huh? Which with Joely, I mean, the fact that he couldn't get through, he couldn't finish this game.
We needed to put Adam Ottavino in to get one singular out in that 9th inning was quite simply embarrassing.
I thought they were blowing this game. I see the back-to-back singles. I'm like,
here we go.
What's happening? He gets 2 strikeouts in a row. I'm like, all right, let's go. Get me going, Joely. Rhys Hoskins then with a pain in the ass 3-2 walk. And then Ottavino has to come in to get that final out on Alec Boehm. Mets sort of cruised through this one 6-0, but
the bullpen didn't give up a run in this one. I mean, that deserves quite the round of applause there.
No, Mike Givens looked great in this one too.
Yeah, he had a good game. Trevor Williams coming in pitching a couple solid innings. Rare.
Trevor Williams is starting to gain my trust a bit. I'm not a Trevor Williams guy, or I haven't been for a while, but he's definitely gaining my trust quite a bit. Don't ruin it now. Michael Givens could be gaining my trust if he didn't look like garbage in that 13-1 loss against the Braves, which, by the way, we forgot to mention. Shout out to Darren Ruff that game for pitching 2 scoreless innings. Just absolutely shoving out there.
He looked phenomenal.
They almost needed him the game after also. But you had no idea how much I wanted the Mets to score a run, though, off Brad Hand in that game. I hate Brad Hand. hate
Red
him.
hand. Oh yeah, he had a short tenure here. That
His
was
stupid mustache.
despise it.
I don't like him. I don't like him. But that kind of gives us a preview of what is to come this weekend down in Philly. Of course, today, kick things off, you have Bassett versus Nola. So how are you feeling going into this one?
I'm definitely not feeling too optimistic about this one. I think hate to be a Debbie Downer here, but I'm thinking the Mets are going to lose this one tonight. They got a no rest here, 4 straight games on the road. Now flying out to Philly last night versus Aaron Nola, who shut them down pretty easily last time around. Bassett had a good start as well, though, in that game that they won pretty good. And yeah, we just need the Mets to really get to Nola here early in this game because I don't know. Hopefully, Bassett can bring it again today, but yeah, I'm
I
not
need
feeling too
7 from
optimistic.
Bassett.
7 innings from him would be nice. He can't have another game where he goes 5 and then have to rely on this bullpen for friggin' 4 innings, but that would be great.
Yeah, that's something that goes under the radar because some people like to mention that this bullpen isn't as bad as everyone makes it out to be. But keep in mind, the starting rotation has Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom, Chris Bassett, who's been eating innings, Carrasco's been eating innings, Taijuan Walker's been eating innings, and when you get 7 solid innings from these guys, you're only using your bullpen for a couple innings there. And Edwin Diaz, we know, has been lights out, and then Adam Ottavino, for the most part, has been. So it's not like you're using most of these other guys, which this is why we need 7 from Bassett tonight, because bridge the gap or bridge it to Ottavino, get Diaz in the game, and shut the door here if you can. Score a couple runs off of Nola. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm not necessarily feeling great going into this one.
For sure. This one's going to be a tough one to get by. And then tomorrow we have actually David Peterson lined up, which is interesting.
For Zach Wheeler. Oh, Christ.
Is it Zach Wheeler?
Yeah.
It says Billy Falter on here. Maybe,
is he lined up to pitch the day game or the night game, though? Because
right. That's a doubleheader. Yeah. Zach Wheeler's pitching the 7:15 game, but at 1 o'clock,
so Peterson's going to pitch the one.
Yeah, against Falter. Yeah, and he's been having a rough go, seems, for the Phillies. Hopefully, he could win that day game.
Oh, this is going to be rough.
Oh, this is going to be some series.
Bailey Falter, not necessarily. I feel like Buck's got to match Peterson up with Wheeler versus having Trevor Williams go up against Wheeler. No,
I can get behind you there. It does, for sure.
Because I think Peterson's going to give you more innings here.
Absolutely. I think Peterson versus Wheeler would be the smarter choice. But doesn't seem what Buck seems to be on with.
Really want to push this win with Peterson on the mound, and then they're like, whatever happens with the Wheeler-Williams game.
Yeah, that could be a thing. Like, try and just, not guarantee, but put yourself in a good position to win with Peterson on the mound rather than Williams. Get your guaranteed win there, and whatever happens against Zach Wheeler happens. Just want to split. If you're fine with that, cool. But who knows?
I'm feeling they win. I'm feeling a split this doubleheader.
I can get behind you on that. I mean, in the full series as a whole.
The series, I don't know about that. I think the Mets might lose the series.
Yeah, I can see another scenario. It's a 3 out of 4 loss, like the Braves series.
Because the fourth and final game, it's going to be Kyle Gibson versus
Taijuan. Is he going to be back? I mean, I see Taijuan going back.
What's his name? What's his name in Syracuse? Let me look him up quickly. Jose Bateau. I'm hearing Jose Bateau's name might get called because Taijuan Walker might have to skip a start here.
So, oh no! That could be really bad or really good. Who knows?
Another diamond in the rough with the rotation. You hope, unless Tyler McGill wants to maybe try and ramp things up a bit. I don't know. No, there's no way he'd be ready by then. But I'm not feeling necessarily great going into this series. I'm not feeling great. but at the same time, it is the Phillies, so anything could happen. The Mets you typically do well against the Phillies, and then they play the Yankees, and you have DeGrom and Scherzer there, which the Yankees have not been playing good baseball.
Oh,
They
they
just have
have
not.
been horrible. What did they lost 12? What is it like 12 out of their last 15? Something
I
in
think it's
that
worse.
range.
I think it's like
Is it worse?
I think they're like 12 and 20 something in their last like 30 something games or so.
Yeah, they have looked really brutal,
And
and
they
we're lined up for our Domingo Yerman, is it? Yeah, and then Frankie Montas. So against
uh,
Scherzer and DeGrom, I'm
no
expecting
Jordan
another
Montgomery
season.
anymore. I forgot.
Yeah, no,
Dang it.
no Jordan Montgomery.
But the Yankees could be on a worse stretch, if you will, than they are already because that walk off they had with Josh Donaldson. I mean, that was
Oh yeah,
kind of a break that they caught there. They could have easily lost that game too. So yeah, the Yankees haven't been playing great baseball. I'm feeling more confident in that series than this Philly series, surprisingly. But
hmm
thankfully, just get through this. Then you play the Rockies. It should be smooth sailing from there. Dodgers, but after that Dodger series, the good news is outside of that, the only really competitive team that you play in September is the Atlanta Braves and the
yep.
Brewers. But outside of that, Nationals, Pirates, Cubs, Pirates again, then the Brewers, A's, and Marlins. You have a lot of easy opponents there. Just you got to make it through this series and next series. If they could split this series, either split or win both against the Yankees, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling
Yeah,
good at that point.
because I also saw a tweet that the Braves are playing a very good amount of teams over 500 in their last stretch here
Well,
down
yeah,
the
I mean
road.
they played the A's already. They played like all these garbage teams already
Yeah, it
when they
feels
went on that
like
hot stretch.
yeah, whenever they're not playing like the Mets or Phillies, they're just playing some garbage teams. So now they're gonna start playing
They
some,
play the Astros.
yeah,
Yes.
that should be good. Hopefully the Astros can win a couple of those games of that series, try and widen our lead, but we got to do some damage ourselves here tonight against the Phillies as it starts.
Especially because we're going to want to count on the Phillies to beat up on the Braves a bit towards the end of September there. We
Yep,
don't want the Phillies and Braves to both be breathing down our neck here. So
exactly.
let's hope they could win this here. But now we'll
Another
move on.
thing,
Oh,
I wanted to get your thoughts on Noah Syndergaard once again in this series. Haven't
ducking the
mentioned that.
Mets. That's right. Ducking the Mets. Forgot about good old Noah.
Yeah.
Oh, Noah Syndergaard. Oh, Noah Syndergaard. Um, so where do we start with you, Noah? How do you talk as much as you do when Buddy can't back anything up on the mound? Like Buddy talks so much trash about the Mets, but can't back anything up. And I laughed my ass off when he went up when he was talking to the media and he's like, "Oh, I need a break from the Mets. Need a
Oh
break
yeah.
from the
Are
team.
you expecting to come
Sorry,
back? Like what?
sorry. I needed a break. I need a break from being a Met fan. Sorry, we can't do this anymore. I'm gonna quickly watch the Mariners for a year. I'll come back to you next year. Sorry.
That's
Sorry, let me
literally the
quickly
same
get this
comparison.
tattoo off of me. I'm gonna quickly bandwagon to the San Jose Sharks for a year with David Quinn. Sorry.
Oh
Need a
man,
break. What?
no sense there. Jeez,
I Whatever makes you feel better, Noah. Whatever makes
really.
you feel better. What are your thoughts though?
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted him to pitch against the Mets. I mean, at City Field, I wanted it the most. See, I think he would have got a rain of boos. I
Oh,
mean, I know there's some
they gave him that
controversy.
video tribute. I was booing like crazy.
Oh, was it? Were there like a lot of people booing? I heard there was, if I'm not
I would say it
mistaken.
was 60-40 more on the boo side.
All right, yeah, so that's good.
Granted, the boos outweigh the cheers, so
Yeah, I hear that. So yeah, it kind of sucks. Definitely wanted to see some Noah Syndergaard against the Mets, but we're not going to be getting it this series. Maybe
not
is this
this
the last time
year.
we're playing the Phillies? Yeah, right.
Unless we see them in the postseason, yeah, we're.
That would be
But
something if
can
we
you
do.
imagine Noah Syndergaard ducking the Mets in the playoffs too?
Oh my god. You
That would
never
be
know, honestly, with Noah.
funny.
It would.
I mean, for a guy who talks as much as he does, certainly can't
Big
back it
time.
up or anything.
Exactly.
Whatever with that guy. I don't have much else to say with Noah Syndergaard. He's clown to say the least.
Yep. Agreed.
But now we'll move on because I got a couple questions lined up, and let's give our thoughts on this. So let's start with this one. Should Brandon Nimmo continue to lead off?
I would give him another like week's worth of in the leadoff spot. I know he's been really bad as of lately, but I think it's been working with him in the leadoff spot for most of the year. He gives productive at bats. He's very disciplined at the plate. He'll give you a single. He'll give you a walk. I know you'll probably have a different opinion on this one, but personally, I give him like another week or two, see how he's doing.
I'm iffy on this because I can understand where you want to give him a bit more time here to try and heat up, and also just like don't change what's been working for you most of the season. I'm having a tough time with this because I really feel like with the way Jeff McNeil's hitting, if you go Marte, McNeil, and then move Nimmo down the 9 hole, I feel like that might give the offense, like, I feel like that might get the offense rolling a bit more. If Nimmo could get going in that 9 hole, you get Marte up next, and then you get McNeil, Lindor, Alonso, versus right now where you have McCann, Nimmo, Marte. I'm kind of leaning more towards you move him down the 9 hole. I'm kind of leaning more towards that just now that I'm putting it in my mind that way.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And then Brett Beatty can move to the 7th spot. So
yeah,
it's a win.
I like it. Yeah. Never know. Maybe they'll give it a try, but I doubt it. I think they'll keep him there.
I agree. Unless things go bad this Philly series, I think then he might
make
down.
some changes for sure.
Speaking of Beatty, though, who leads the 26-man roster if Beatty heats up? Because I can't figure this one out. I can't.
This is a tough one.
Because Luis Guillorme is the only one with any sort of minor league options. But how do you get when he comes back from the injured list? How do you send Guillorme down? He's been great for you. He's been a Gold Glove level fielder, as always. His bat's even been solid this year. Do they have an awkward conversation with Escobar? Do they just tell? I don't know what they do here.
Escobar. I mean, that would be awkward to say the least. Signing your anticipated third baseman for the whole season, $10 million a year. But I don't know.
It never made sense. I still feel to this day that I know Chris Bryant's been hurt for the Rockies most of the year, but I felt that was always the right route to go down because at least Chris Bryant could move into the outfield by the time Beatty was ready to come up and go. Now it's kind of a weird situation. Granted, now you could just move Jeff McNeil into the outfield inside Trey Turner this offseason, but that's offseason.
That's a different conversation. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, let me get that question lined up. Where's Trey Turner gonna hit next year for the Mets? No, but pipe dream in there.
He was talking up the Mets. I don't know if you saw that interview, like where he's asked his favorite ballpark.
Is this a strategy though? So Steve Cohen throws the bag. You think this is a strategy because he knows Cohen's gonna be like, you know what? I see you try and throw the bag at him. But Max Scherzer needs to have a word with Steve Cohen to get this guy in the orange and blue next year. He's gotta.
Oh yeah, they were with each other. The Nationals then got traded together to the Dodgers. So I think Max Scherzer can do a lot of recruiting there, for sure.
But to answer the question, who are you going with? If you have to pick a guy,
I think it has to be Escobar. I know it's going to be a hot take, but I just don't know. He's not good in the field. He hasn't been hitting. Brett Beatty, I mean, from what we've seen, he's looking like a stud. So I find it hard to believe you can't just send him back down. think it has to be Escobar.
I'm trying to think of who I want to say for this. Because like, oh my god, because I don't see them getting rid of Escobar with the money. Is it like, do they send Naquin down? Like,
I like
just because
Naquin.
Vogie could hit on that left side too, but at the same
True.
time, you lose an outfielder there, and then I don't know if
Tough
they want a
call.
scenario where Jeff McNeil has to go back in the outfield. I unless they decide, which would be a weird way with the DH and everything, but they might not have a choice but to go with the extra guy on the bench here. They might not have a
That's another
choice
option.
because I don't know who you get rid of.
Yeah, this is a tough one, 100%, because there's a lot of
Unless
guys that
Jeff
have been
McNeil
productive.
wants to suit up and catch, like then please,
That would be a
please.
dream
I know
scenario.
he's the emergency catcher. He at least like owned up to on Twitter a couple years ago. Jeff,
That's funny.
please go back there and catch.
That
I'm
would
begging
solve
you.
everything.
Oh my! Could you imagine this lineup if Jeff McNeil was catching?
If only. If only.
Oh, Jeff,
Do it.
listen, take one.
You're
for
watching
the team,
this.
which we know you are, Jeff. We know you're watching.
We
Take one
do.
for the team. I'm the catcher now. Just say the words. Say the words to Buck, please. But if gun to my head, I say Escobar also. I say they're gonna just bite the bullet on Escobar because either way, this offseason, I don't think he's
Yeah,
here.
he's goner. It's club option, right?
I actually didn't. I don't know if he has an option or not. I think they might just say "see you later."
Oh yeah, I mean hopefully, but
I mean, they're gonna have to, especially Beatty continues
yeah,
this way, and you have Vientos also in
exactly.
the system.
Yeah, you don't have a choice.
Next question: can the Mets push themselves to the number 1 seed?
I don't think so. I'm pretty 90% sure, confident in that. I think the Dodgers are running away with it. They are just on another level. Yeah, I think the Mets can take them down to the postseason, 100%. But no, I think the Dodgers are going to keep it rolling. And honestly, like, wouldn't if you're a Mets fan, don't you want the number? I mean, not if you face the Dodgers in the NLCS, but isn't it like, aren't they going to have to play the Braves like in all? If they're the number 1 seed, don't they play the Braves if they win the wild card? Or because I could have sworn like it's Padres Cardinals and we play the winner of that in the 2 seed as of now.
So I'm pretty sure it's the way football like used to have their playoffs. So in terms of that, so the Mets are the number 2 seed. So 1 and 2 get the bye, and
Yeah,
then 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5.
right.
So say the Cardinals beat the Padres, who are the 6th seed right now. We end up playing the Cardinals. But say the Padres beat the Cardinals, and then whoever wins the Atlanta Philly series, we play. So that's the way that works, if you're understanding.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's like how football used to be, which is also stupid because I always hated that with football because you have one or two of the division winners that are usually like there's always a wild card team better. Right now, the Braves are far and away better than the Cardinals, but the Cardinals are the number 3 seed. It's stupid.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Definitely. But yeah, to answer the question, I don't think the Mets will get the number 1 seed. I'm fine with the number 2 seed. Hopefully they hang on to that. You get the bye. That's what matters to me the most. But yeah, I think the Dodgers hold on to the 1 seed.
Yeah, I agree, especially because I'm looking right now. They have a lot of games against the Diamondbacks left. They have a 5-game series against them. They have a 3-game series. They're playing the Rockies for 4 games at the end of the season. Yeah, this is going to be tough. They play all divisional matchups in September, excluding 1 game against us and then a 3-game set against the Cardinals. Outside of that, the remaining schedule is all divisional games for the Dodgers. That's weird.
No,
I don't know how
no
that happened.
not a lot of traveling for them in that last month, which is solid. So
Freaking hate the
gonna be tough.
Dodgers. Freaking hate
Yeah,
them.
Dodgers. I hate them so much. Yeah, with you there.
Well, that's the final question. Why will newly acquired Yolmer Sanchez make a big impact? And why will he win the third base job over Brett Beatty?
No, the Mets he probably will, to be honest.
I mean,
yeah,
you know what? I'm fine with this because if this means Devin Marrero, I don't have to look at him again, where he
Yeah.
looks like the most generic Marlins player in the world. Then goodbye. And I know he was on the Marlins, but you can't tell me he doesn't look like the most generic Marlins player in the world.
Oh yeah, I'm behind you there. He's a mess. I mean, I don't want to say him anymore. The fact that we had him start a game for this team was pretty embarrassing, to say the
I
least.
mean, this bullpen is embarrassing. So
Yeah.
is it that embarrassing at the end of the day? I mean,
Yeah, nothing can get more embarrassing than that
come on,
bullpen. To be
Sam
fair.
Clay's on the active roster. The Nationals didn't want him.
Oh goodness gracious!
This bullpen. Please don't give us a heart attack. Just
Yeah, it's gonna do some bad things though. So I'm
if
thinking.
Bassett doesn't give us 7 innings tonight, send a prayer for the rest of the series because this bullpen is going to be needed a lot. Trevor Williams, he's not going more than 5. Peterson, you're probably getting 5 or 6. And then Jose Bateau, who the hell knows? Who the
Yeah, I
hell
mean,
knows?
this sucks that we're gonna have to see the bullpen this much this weekend. It's gonna put us in quite the misery. But let's see. Hopefully, they can hold the fort down somehow.
Yep. Which we'll find out, and we're gonna wrap things up now, and we'll be back. We'll probably be back after the Yankee series. I feel like that's a good spot because there's an off day there,
so
like makes sense. And then you might end up getting a couple episodes within the span of this next week or so, because then there's another off day after that Rocky series. So we'll definitely have time to get things rolling a bit. And then, of course, it's kind of going to be a bit of a longer stretch when they go play the Dodgers, Nationals, and Pirates, and then there's an off day. But we'll pump out as much. Granted, we might record after the Dodgers series, given the fact that it's the biggest series of the season. We'll have to wait and see how things go there. But
definitely want to attend a game there.
Yeah,
series,
100%. I'm also definitely going to get to some games against the Rockies. I need to improve my record on the year here. So what better way to do it than against the
Rockies?
Yep, and I'll surely be at that series against the Cubs too, especially if Stroman's pitching any of those games.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun.
Gotta attend those. But remember to use TickPick if you're gonna get tickets, everyone. But perfect way to plug and end things. But that's gonna be where we wrap things up, unless you have anything else to say.
Yeah, no, I think we covered about just everything. And big series starts tonight. Let's go Mets. That's it.
Yep, that's where we're gonna wrap things up. Split the series at the very least, for the love of God. Just split the series. But that's where we're going to wrap things up. Thank you so much for listening, watching, whatever you did. If you did enjoy, leave a like. You must have enjoyed if you listened to us talk about the Mets for an hour. So why not? Like, that takes 2 seconds versus the hour that we just spent entertaining you guys. Also, subscribe if you guys are new. If you're listening, give us a rating, give us a review. And we will see you guys in the next one. Let's go, Mets.